All right, so picking up here in the second half with the 49ers, and as you saw in the first half, thought they did a pretty decent job moving the football, got themselves behind the sticks by not winning those early downs, and that's really what caused their drives to stall. Second half, I didn't think they were nearly as good, as effective. So you starting with pretty good field position here. All right, so no surprise, kind of coming back to the same idea here. Pylon, again, never quite understand why they're pushing up and running the in here instead of just running the over, using Debo here to be the flat. So we'd have their layers over here, but they're leaving this in on the back side, never quite getting over to the other side. Not sure the premise there, but you come off the play fake. There you go. There's a shot. And again, I'm not looking at the offensive line quite yet, but you see the depth, a little higher angle, a little better angle there. We got a shot. Got a shot to see this, throw it up, and get it. If not, you see the in coming. Like I said, I wish he was coming more on an over so he'd already be by the numbers in front of Brock so you get those layers. But as you can see, none of it really matters because, again, these protection issues, I don't know what we're doing. I don't know how we don't account for the Mike linebacker in a protection, okay? So we bring Christian McCaffrey across, and are we trying to or expecting Christian McCaffrey and his play fake to affect that Mike linebacker so he can't blitz? Otherwise, he's got to pick him up. I mean, that's the protection, okay? So the offensive line is moving this way. So we've got 1, 2, 3, and 4. We got no offensive linemen left to block here. And so we really need Christian McCaffrey to have to step down because everybody else is stepping back. Take the Mike linebacker here, and then the offensive line can work to these backside guys, but we don't even block the Mike linebacker. So I don't know. Maybe it's it can't be the right guard here because he's got a guy, if we rewind it, he's got a guy right over his head in Chris Jones. He can't. I think they block it exactly how they need to up front. And Christian McCaffrey has to be responsible for this guy right here, block it up, give us a chance down the field. We mess that up, and boom, or we expect it. And you see the guard kind of coming off, but there's no way he can just step out to the Mike linebacker right now and expect the backside guard to get all the way to Chris Jones. I don't know. You have to ask an offensive line coach to answer that question for you. So we look at it again, right? So here's what they're going to do. They're going to pull the center to try to get action. So he's going to be responsible for somebody here on the edge, okay? Trent goes here. Chris Jones is right over the left guard, right guard here if you're looking at it from this angle. So there's no way he can push and go to this linebacker and expect this backside guard to block Chris. There's just no way. So he's got to stay there, block here. These guys are coming down, which is cool. So they'll end up being responsible for this. Use here the pulling guard for number 50. How do we account for 54? Who's accounting for 54? It's got to be Christian McCaffrey here, or we're guessing that he's going to go with Christian McCaffrey's action and we're going to be fine. But that is taking a huge chance. You see it. Mike linebacker comes. I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's just, to me, not smart football and thinking that whatever you do is going to be able to outsmart the defense. And then, I don't know. It just, to me, you got to be sound. You got to take care of the guys with the blockers you have, or you have to give your quarterback answers. And they did not do that right there. And it cost them an opportunity for a big play. All right, so we come back here, and again, these are some of the things that I don't fully understand within this offense. I don't know what they're trying to do back here. So just keep an eye on that. Like what are we trying to do back there? So there's no options back there for Brock. On the front side, they're running a play to me that looks like what we would call F post. So we're running what we call an influence shallow by Debo, trying to grab all those inside defenders and trying to hit this post right here. So it doesn't really matter what happens on the backside because right there's the throw. There it is. First of all, Brock, got to be ready. Got to be ready. Be ready to put it in the first window. You let it go too long, and they've got a cop defender. You remember cop is a free linebacker that's kind of sitting in there reading, whereas a robber is a safety that's dropping down. But they got a cop defender inside. He's influenced there by Debo. Ball's got to be out right here. Brock's got to see it now. Looks to me like Brock is looking inside. Maybe they tell him, again, to the pure progression, maybe they're saying this is 1 and then this is 2. I'm going to disagree with that if I'm coaching and going to go, this is 1, and then you come back to 2 and 3 over here. We always had something here that would actually, if we were running this, erase this. So if we were running this, what we would always do was this was number 1, and then whatever our answer was over here would become number 2, and then it would be shallow swing, both number 3 off of the defender that was over there. And so that's how we used to read it. But you see it right here, we got a chance. The other thing, I wouldn't mind seeing Brandon Ayuk get a little bit wider, but regardless, I mean, I'm not going to nitpick on that because there it is. If you're ready and you have your back foot in the ground and you hit Brandon Ayuk right there, that's a chance for a big play. You got separation, got to be ready for that in man-to-man coverage. Missed throw, missed opportunity right there, and then almost becomes an interception on the backside. Okay, so here again, looks to me like more of a pure progression type play, but I don't know. So we've got a corner, and once again, instead of just running an out here, we're going to run a return here. So why is that a big deal? It's a big deal because we can't throw the return no matter what this corner does. If this corner drops back and covers the corner route, we can't throw the return because he's starting out and then he's coming all the way back inside. We got to wait for it. That's why I like to have things that kind of time up together where I can see what the corner does. Boom, ball out of my hands. But anyways, we have that. We have Kittle on an in, and then we have Jennings running a shallow. So it looks to me as if it's kind of like 1, 2, 3, 4. If you're reading it pure progression, and with the return, I almost feel like you have to. Or I think you can split this in half and you can go read this side if you like the look. And what do I mean by if I like the look? What I mean is if I can truly isolate this guy with the high-low right here, I like this look. If I don't like it, I know I should be in pretty good shape here with the high-low on the backside with the in and the shallow. And then let's see what Christian does on this play as a check down. So he's going to check back into the middle. So you've got shallow, you've got in, and then you can recover back to this one right here. So again, to my point is if we ran just a quick out right here, now I'm looking at this as a quarterback and I'm going, okay, what does Snead do? If Snead sits back, boom, I just take it right now. If he jumps up, then I can look at the corner route up over the top. Okay, but you see, there's the return. But again, some of these things are really hard because the game's played fast. Brandon Ayuk's just starting to come out of this right now. And it doesn't necessarily connect to this route. Kurt, what are you talking about? It doesn't connect to that route. Okay, so just follow me here. All right, so if I run out and corner, they're connected because they're both attacking the same area on the field. So if I get one defender there, I can isolate that one defender and I get a read. When I send guys to different zones, so I'm sending this guy out to the numbers on the zone, so they have the capabilities of taking it away with the corner. And then this guy here, I'm sending back into the inside zone where they have the capabilities of covering it with this linebacker. Why is that important? It's important because who do you read if you're the quarterback? What am I looking at if I'm the quarterback? I got to read the corner first to see if he falls off, but then if he falls off, I got to get back into the inside linebacker to see if he chases vertical or he's sitting in that zone. So I got to read two different guys on this front side concept as opposed to, let's just say we were running an in and a return. Okay, now I only have to read this defender. Does he get deep? Throw the return underneath it. Does he stay shallow? Throw the in over the top of it. Okay, if I'm running this, now I only have to read this defender. Is he drop? Does he come under? I get a high-low. Then I'm faster through this because one defender tells me which of these two guys, or if I have either of these guys. If I don't, boom, I can get backside to a backside read much faster. But again, I don't know how they teach how to read all of these, but obviously on this throw, this guy gets enough depth, and then this guy chases, that this is really the throw that we would like to throw. But you see, he's off of it already for some reason, and he's going to the backside. There's a chance. There's a chance. He's got some guys and some opportunities there, but it has to be on the perfect timing, and the timing is all off because he's reading front side first. To me, once I see this guy get outside here and I no longer have a 2-on-1 on the corner, I'm backside because I know and I like this relationship here. So I'm back to the end, see if I have it, and then I'll work to the shallow. So if you get back there right now, there's your throw, in my opinion, to George Kittle on the in. You're ready to take that if you're back there quick enough. And these are my arguments with the pure progression type stuff, is that timing doesn't always connect, and it can feed into some issues for the quarterback and him missing some opportunities because he's late getting there because he's not definitive with who's my eyes are on. Does that guy give me a high-low? How quickly do I get to the next guy? All right. So naked bootleg. They've run the naked bootleg a couple times. So they're coming out on this play, and this is one of their favorites. So I always said on the naked, I said it earlier, right? They've got a guy coming to the flat. So this guy's coming to the flat. They've got their over, and they got a guy going to the corner. On this particular play, this is their changeup. So just like I talked about Kansas City, if you watch that, they run the Horner route. So the Horner route is a fake corner back to the post, okay? So George Kittle's faking this, and he's trying to get back to the post, and they're trying to set up outside and throw it back for a big play, okay? So let's watch this play out here, okay? Look downfield. Just look down the field. There's a lean, and there he is going backside, okay? So here he is going backside. Do they have it? Do they not have it? Safety's in pretty good position right there. I don't know. We'll have to see if they get it and if they get a shot back there. Hard to say right now. The other thing that they may be doing here, and usually you don't take this guy back to the post if you're doing it, but we have a Y sneak play, and it looks like maybe Brock is doing that. So you get all the action going this direction, and then your Y sneaks down the backside, okay? So maybe that was their first thought here, was look backside and take that, possibly the post after that, and then work on. One of these two special plays is what they were trying to get right there, but it all breaks down because big Chris Jones isn't blocked again on this one. Maybe Hughes needs to come down and bang this a little bit more before he leaks out because they allow Chris Jones to come free. Chris Jones coming free, and this is what happens. Nothing gets to develop. Brock again running for his life, and then I always say quarterbacks don't make a bad play worse. So he spins out and does a great job avoiding, but he's got to realize he's way deep in the backfield, and Jennings is right here. Unless you have a good sense that he's wide open and can gain some yards, you never want to just dump it off late behind the line of scrimmage to your receiver because you did a great job avoiding, but just throw it away. Throw it away. Everything's falling apart. Have a sense there. You don't know it's good. Just throw it away because you see he's 8 yards behind the line of scrimmage. So bad play on the protection, and that part of it doesn't work out. Now we get a completion, and now we lose 8 yards. This continued to be the issue for the 49ers is they're falling behind on first and second down, giving them third and long, and they can't make up for it. And so they have no chance to score and put this game out of reach. So this is basically the same play that we saw earlier where Christian McCaffrey was running the under down here. It's an under, it's an in, it's a vertical, the return, and then the one step over here. Okay, so first time he starts the read down on the bottom with Debo as he did with Christian. They take away, they muscle him there. They've got bodies here. The one step's not open as they're playing some sort of man. Does a great job of getting all the way back to his fourth read here as he's working through this, but there's nobody open. There's nobody. They're manhandling him across the board. Christian McCaffrey's the one guy that has soft coverage. So, boom, get to him. We get a nice completion. Good job by Brock working through this thing, but it was really the story of this game was the way that the Chiefs defense got after the wide receivers, messed up all the timing. There were no easy throws, especially in the second half, for Brock Purdy. All right, so here we go on the front side with kind of the same look, corner, return, clearing this out, and then George Kittle. They like to run him on the choice routes. They'll run him on a choice route later in the fourth down situation and convert it, but they're going to fake the choice and try to run the choice and go. So that's where Brock's looking. Great coverage right there. Nothing he can do. And again, it's kind of a pick a side. Which side do you like? Everybody can kind of look and go, oh, well, Debo's open on this side. So yeah, if he picked that side, okay, he's got a shot at the corner to Debo. Probably takes it. But he picked the other side to Kittle, and he got protection here, right? Issues across the board with how they're protecting it. The right tackle getting pushed back, doesn't have time, just has to launch it away. And you notice this is a 3rd and long again. Now, punting one more time. All right. So, what we got right here, ironically enough, it's the same sort of play that we just had. Okay, so watch all the elements here. All the elements are exactly the same. So, we're going to have the one step. We're going to have the return. We're going to have the in. And then instead of an under, we're going to run a return over here. Okay, so we've got those same elements. Now, the only change up, instead of this guy going down the middle of the field, they run him on a corner route right here. Okay, so the first thing for me when I have this concept is you choose the side you're going to read, and he's going to read the left-hand side. So the first thing that I'm going to see is I want to see this defender. Okay, on the snap, what does this defender do? Does this defender drop? If this defender drops, I'm going to replace him right now with the one step. If he doesn't drop, okay, so he comes and jumps this one step, I am on the one step, make sure he chases it, and then I'm going to be to kind of the high-low here or the in and out there to the other part. So you see right here, you see the slot defender chases up. There's the throw right there. Okay, so for me, again, I'm always going to peek this first. I'm just going to make sure that this guy chases him, covers him. If he covers him, I can replace to the return right behind it. Or if he covers him and they come down and the corner comes down, now maybe I got a shot over the top. I just don't like the leverage here. Look at the safety so far outside on the corner route here. So it makes this really tough to that side if you're not getting man-to-man coverage. But there we go. And we already talked about it earlier. And you're pushing this guy up vertical. We had that with Kittle. The other thing that you can read is you can, if you want to let it play out a little bit more, this guy going vertical. So you know you have a vertical down here. This guy chases it. Look to replace with this one a little bit further along. We talked about that earlier, right? When Debo didn't run all the way through. If he runs all the way through, and then if the next backer chases him, then you recover to the return there. So we don't have the vertical in terms of he's taking down the middle of the field, but we still have the vertical push, right? So the vertical push, see what it does to the Mike linebacker? Mike linebacker chases him vertical, which is what opens this up. McDuffie chases it. Then we've got the guy opening up back behind him. But so much of this is, how are you reading this? What are you seeing? But to me, you got to be seeing one of two things. You're either seeing the Mike linebacker and then isolating the Sam linebacker, or you're seeing the Sam linebacker to see if he gets depth, and you're reading this one step first, and then you're going from there. But either way, there's the shot to Debo right there, right now. And don't have it. They double team McCaffrey. I'm not sure if he's looking for that and tries to go to the corner late. So just, again, a lot of issues, a lot of tough concepts, a lot of similar concepts, but trying to figure out exactly how to read it, what Brock is looking at, Is it the high-low inside? Is it the Sam linebacker? Just to me, there's some tough concepts. And again, maybe they're not when you're in the room on the board and they're saying, this is how we're going to read it. This is what we're looking at. But I'm deciphering it on my own because I didn't run any of these concepts. But I'm trying to figure out where the conflict defender is so the quarterback can get his eyes on the conflict defender. Mike linebacker chasing deep, replace it with that quick one step. Okay, Sam linebacker squeezes it. Now I'm going to replace to the return that's coming back to his area. But I'm trying to figure out the conflict player. And then once I do that, is Brock reading that conflict player or is he just trying to find guys open? Okay, so this kind of comes back to the double post that they ran earlier here. We're going to burst outside. They ran the post earlier. Now they're going to come back with the in. And then they're going to run a hook underneath it. So I like the concept as a whole, but it's two-man coverage right here. And the problem with this in two-man coverage is when you burst outside, you're going to leave the man underneath you. You're going to leave him inside of you, which is the same thing that happened on that post. We left the guy inside of us, and now we've lost leverage to that side. So if we get that, if we get man coverage and lose leverage, you'd love to have something that can win somewhere else, something that you like better somewhere else. You see no separation here. McDuffie plays it again, almost an interception right there. I would love to see Brandon Ayuk down on the bottom, even though the guy's sitting inside leverage, which is what they're going to do in two-man. I'd love to see him try to win inside. Try to get inside and gain leverage because you're running an in two. If you don't, you at least move the guy and then make him play catch-up, and you might be able to separate at the top. Not sure he's even going to this side, but when you outside release on an in route, happens on both sides, right? They cover it well on both sides. Going to be a tough throw either way. Nobody really separates in two-man. So again, where are you throwing if you're Brock Purdy? Not a lot of opportunities here in this third quarter as we're seeing for Brock Purdy to make some plays. Had a few. Didn't necessarily make them in this half like he did in the first half. Okay, coming off the play fake here. They're going to run a seam. They've got the wide motion here, and they're going to run a go. And then they're going to come back, and it looks like it's a curl with a flat back to this side. Okay, so Brock comes off the play fake. Boom, he's coming back, and we're trying to draw these guys up and see if I can get the seam right there. Not there. Covered up. Okay, here's what I would love to do or what I would do on this particular play. And again, I understand why they're doing this. It's not like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. But when you run this wide motion, it's really tough to win on a go route because the receiver's kind of running sideways. You got to get up on top of the defender. The defender is usually going to play higher when you're in this kind of motion here. He's not going to come and attack you at the line of scrimmage. He's just trying to get on top of you. So I don't really like running a go route here. Anytime we ran this play action, we called it trap pass. See the trap? The pull right there. We called it trap pass. We would run a seam, and then outside of that seam, we would run a stop or a comeback out here. So if I chose to come back, I get middle closed. I like the seam possibility if we can get the linebacker to pull up. I come back and look at it. If I have the seam, great. If I don't, boom, I can work right outside to this comeback. So I just peek at it. Okay, so here we are. I don't have the seam. Now look, he sticks it and he runs a comeback. It's easy for Brock. He's over there. His eyes are over there. He starts there. Boom. He just finishes out to the one-on-one on the outside. Here, he's got to come back to Brandon running the curl route on the backside. Karlaftis gets there. I'm not sure if this was tipped or if it was just a bad throw. If he throws it off something, hits his hand, whatever. But tough. We missed the opportunity. I'd love for him to just stay and be able to go boom, boom, and he's right out to the front side and complete this. But it's all about options, right? Giving your quarterback options. They got no options over here. He's looking that side and no options. Got to come all the way back to the other side and figure out what's going on. Again, guy open there, though. They got a guy. They got a possibility. They just aren't able to make the play. Okay, really nice on third down. They're going to get, and this was one of the blessings of having Jennings, right, is that Ayuk and Debo are going to get the two best DBs. They're going to get Snead and McDuffie. Tough matchups for both of them. So you find your third receiver, and he usually has a mismatch with the third DB of another team. Not many teams have three great DBs. When I was playing with the Great Show on Turf, that was one of our blessings. We had Oz, we had Ricky. Both of those guys were an advantage for us against the number 3, and then you put them all in the field. We definitely have an advantage against the number 4, but that's what you're looking for, and Jennings was a matchup problem for their number 3 DB. Great job here. Watch this. Choice outside. I know I'm breaking outside. Lean up the field. Force the DB's leverage and weight to be going up the field, then separate. Really well done on this route. Pushes up, separate. See it? See the weight of the DB going down the field? He separates, wins on third down. Great job right there by Jennings to win on the choice route. Make a little play afterwards. He was big throughout this game. Okay, well, now we're into the fourth quarter. So you saw in that third quarter, wasn't a whole lot going on for the 49ers. Never really got past midfield. I think they were past midfield on the interception, and that was the only time in the third quarter. Okay, so here they come back, and I like this because they come back and they're going to run that same type of combination here. They're going to go outside. Instead of Debo on the in route, they're going to put Ayuk on the in route and Debo on the underneath hook or under concept. So we're trying to get the outside guy to push out there and give us leverage and then win accordingly. So you see it right here. It's a good job. Switch release. He's able to, even though he's got a little inside leverage right here. He's such a great route runner. Does a great job here and then crossing over the DB here. Bang. There we go. Nice throw. We're into Kansas City territory again. That big throw right there. Nice route. Nice concept. I like the concept when you can get off coverage. A lot harder when you have press coverage as we've seen, but it's a good solid concept across the board. All right, so this is one. It was a bummer. Good play call. They're going to go with the hard stretch, which is their favorite kind of run play. And then they're going to sneak him down the boundary, pretend like we're blocking, sneak Debo into the seam, and then Kittle's here to hold the middle safety right here. So they get everything they want. Play fake, boom. They get Snead to come up. There's Debo. They got him. Now, protection was an issue throughout this game. Here it is again. He's throwing it with a guy in his face, but we got to hit that one. Now, it doesn't really matter because they end up scoring on this drive anyway, so missed opportunity, but we get it back. Now, the only thing I would say, again, if I'm coaching Brock, and I understand, protection steps down and then has to seal back, so you can't be too short on this. But I would just say don't quite carry the fake as long, and then also understand that we're on the 20 whatever yard line. So this ball has to get up and down. So it's almost a quick 5-step. Get your stretch, boom, set, and get this ball up in the air right now. Right now, set. Set right there. Quick 5-step, set, boom. See it? Get the ball out of your hands. I thought he carried the fake a little bit too long here, being this spot on the football field. This is almost a token fake. We either get it or we don't get it. They either jump up or they don't jump up. And I'm just throwing this like a go ball down here this tight to the end zone. But a lot of different things there. He's still going to be fine, I think, timing-wise, if he's got protection and can hit this. But a couple things that I would have done a little bit differently. All right, so here's their fourth down play. They came back with the choice. Remember, we talked about the choice and go. Now we're going to come back with the choice, lean on him, get the separation, good throw. Okay, the route, their favorite routes on the backside, they hit all the time, is the double slant route. It's going to come into play on the very last play of regulation for the 49ers, but they get a nice little throw and catch right there, convert it. Okay, and so just notice on the backside, double slants. Okay, we got press inside. Never like that as much as the outside slant. Outside slant can take a little bit more time against press. We can work it and we can lean on them. The inside slant kind of has to go, so I don't like that against press. And again, that comes into play with their final play in regulation, but good throw, good catch. Taking a big chance there if you're the 49ers of going for it on fourth down, but taking the mentality that we're going to win the game, which kind of makes it strange that in overtime they chose to take the ball and Not that they're playing for the third possession, but they're thinking about the third possession where you're playing aggressive here. You go for it on fourth down here. You go and throw the ball on third down at the end of regulation. Why? Not to give the ball back to Patrick Mahomes. So to me, in overtime, what you're saying is, hey, we're going to give it to Patrick Mahomes, see what he does, and then we're not giving it back to him. We're going to either go score, and if we score, we're going for 2. We're not giving him another opportunity. We're going to play aggressive. So it was kind of interesting in overtime that they didn't do that. Okay, so here's another pressure situation by the Chiefs. Okay, so it is a situation where we're going to really have a 5 out. So Christian McCaffrey is going to go out to this side. So again, how I always like to treat these protections is we take the 4 down guys. So I'll X out those 4 guys right there. And then from there, we decide who we're going to pick up. And so for me, I want to go and take the backside guy. Why do I want to take the backside guy? I want to take the backside guy because I've got 3 guys going out the front side. So they've got 3 guys over here, right? So if they want to bring pressure to the front side, yes, I'm hot, but I'm hot with an advantage because I've got 3 against their 2 if they're going to bring pressure. And so it's much easier for them to bring this guy. Why? Because they've got 2 guys to cover these 2. Much easier for them to bring this guy than the guy to the front side, but they could still bring the guy to the front side, and I would have a hot situation to the front side. So I'm going to block the backside. But you're going to see, right? We got it either way. We're going to be hot either way, and actually we are. For some reason, the offensive line doesn't pick up either one of those guys. So we're hot. So it's probably this throw here to Christian McCaffrey, or on the backside, they do a nice job here. And Jennings gets off that press quick, and he hits it, and he throws it around the guy, and this turns into a touchdown against Snead. Really, really well done. Even against the press, this can be a hard route. It's almost like I would think, okay, I would be taking Brandon Ayuk against press, let him clear it out and throw this behind it, but nice job by Jennings to win. But I'm thinking hot off of this guy, throw it to Christian McCaffrey over here, and that's probably the throw that I'm taking. But does a nice job getting it out, has a plan, answers the question, and gets himself a touchdown. Okay, so coming back to, again, it's kind of the same principle, same theories with a lot of these plays. Vertical down here, Jennings on the in, and now it's Debo kind of popping to the outside, and he becomes the underneath guy. So that same concept, I call it pinch, an influence post, and an in with a choice or a hook underneath it. So really well done, right? We get guy down the middle. We've seen this guy chase it. He chases it. Now we have our high-low right here. Can you throw it around him to the end? Take it. If not, dump it underneath if he gets too much depth to Debo. Good concept right here. And then again, you can kind of see the pure progression part of it, that we're staying front side, and then we're going to bring this guy back on a return so he becomes the next guy, and then Christian on the backside with the swing. So it's front side, maybe it's 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5, okay? I would actually like to just go, we'll peek at Brandon Ayuk down the middle, but it's really, to me, kind of 1 and 1. I'm reading this defender. Both of these guys are my first read, depending on what that guy does. Now I can speed up this process, but really good throw here. Good play by Jennings, again, making a big play for him. Okay, so the play fake here, which is kind of surprising. This was the second down of their last drive, where you're going, okay, field goal range, keep running the football, force timeouts because you got to complete it. Now they go with the naked, trying to get an easy one. This isn't an easy one. Guy in his face, but he makes a great throw here to George Kittle so we don't stop the clock here on second down. Great job right there. We didn't pick up much, but we got the completion. We got back to the line of scrimmage, kept ourselves in a third and 5 situation, but a gutsy call, and it shows their aggressiveness right there, and they go ahead and hit it. So it brings us to our 3rd and 5. And the dilemma, do you hand it off here, force Kansas City to take a timeout? And so, again, you're still going to have about the same time on the clock, which is a minute 53. They're just going to have one less timeout. But that didn't really play out as, that important in the regular time. Again, they might have had to kick a longer field goal than they did. if they don't have that timeout, but they move the ball pretty well. If they have the same drive, they probably score anyways. But, but still, I like the aggressiveness, and that's what I was talking about. Here we are, 4th down, we went for it down there, and we scored a touchdown. Here we are on 3rd down, we're going for it, right? We're not worried about that. We're going to throw the football and try to finish this game and force Kansas City to use their timeouts and drive the clock down from there, giving it back to Patrick with maybe a little bit less than a minute to go. Now, I broke this down 2 different ways already, so I'm not going to go into a lot of detail here. But bottom line is, so again, take a look at my Twitter account if you want to see this more in depth, because I broke down the protection part of it and those details, and then I broke down the throw part of it, where you're going to see right here, Brandon Ayuk runs the quick slant. With pressure, we always want to attack the pressure. So where the pressure's coming from, we want to attack it. And so right here, there's the pressure. We want to attack it. Now, we talked about this a couple times. He's looked to throw this a couple of times. We had press on the inside, or even the times we had press on the outside. We hit the touchdown on the one step or the slant to the outside against press. So I understand that part of it, and they had success on it. But when you've got a free hitter coming at you, you got to get the ball out quick. You want him as far away as possible from you when you make the throw, and you want to replace him because there's always a void where the guys bring pressure. Now, you got to make sure nobody's popping out into that area, all that stuff. But, again, you can go see, the whole breakdown of this instead of me doing it right here. But here's the throw. We got to read this inside out. We got to understand that we have press out here, so we don't have the timing that we want against press with a free hitter. Got to take Ayuk right here, and it looks like he looks at him and for some reason doesn't take him. Got to take that throw right there. That's the throw. That's the 1st down. That's the one that keeps the clock going, and that may be the one that finishes and wins this game for the 49ers. Instead, we're going to overtime. Okay, so let's take a look at the drive in overtime. All right, so same sort of idea, choice over here. Now, we got double team on the choice, so that's kind of our one read, and then we work back across to this side. Looks like 2 to 3. I don't know where this guy comes into the mix. Again, I like to split the field in half. So here, they actually run Brandon Ayuk on a comeback or a stop. Love this. So, Christian, widen and then run your choice route. So, as a quarterback, I can read this outside defender right here. If we widen and attack him and he stays down, I'm going to recover right up over the top to the comeback. If we widen and this defender widens and gets depth to take away the comeback, now I'm going to hit Christian underneath it. Okay? Instead, we get the clamp right here, but instead we go back to the front side here on the pure progression, whereas me, just stay on your half field read and stay over here to Brandon Ayuk. You got to count on him to win. There it is right there. That's what I'm throwing. That's where the ball's out. That's where I'm going because I got 2 guys to cover Christian McCaffrey. Means I get one-on-one on the outside. I'm going over there instead of having to work back to something that I don't know. And what do I mean by that? That if I'm reading to the left side, I have no idea what's going on over here. Now, I'm hoping my guy gets open, but I have no idea what the look is to the front side because I'm not looking over there. And that's another thing that I have a problem with pure progression is my eyes have to go to one side or one guy, and then I got to go try to find another guy, but I have no idea what the defense is doing because I'm not reading a defender. So here, that's what I like. Read the outside defender. Christian, attack the outside defender. He widens, boom, I'll hit you right inside of him on the hook. He clamps to you, I'll work right outside to Ayuk. Instead, we're coming back, and it's good coverage again. And not only that, but even if he catches it, you see Bolton is there to be able to be in the mix. This is the one that gets tipped and almost intercepted because that guy's there. Whereas me, I'm going out to my best wide receiver, one-on-one, on a comeback because they've clamped everything underneath it. We get very fortunate there that it's not a turnover and we're not giving it back to Patrick Mahomes. Okay, 3rd down. This is the one that we're fortunate on because you see it right here. There ain't nobody open, right? We're running back here. They got help. Maybe George was open right off the bat. They run the one step again, and then I'm not sure what Jennings is going to be doing on this one, but you see this. Clamped. He's covered even though he was held. Clamped, and then George has a guy on him. Again, we can go back to the beginning. If you read this perfectly, Maybe there's a throw right there to George, but I'm not really sure what we're trying to get here. It looks like Jennings is trying to break back to the inside here. Maybe that same type of concept back in here, but he gets held, so they get fortunate here, but nobody's really open on this play if there's no hold. Love this one here, so they get him in the bunch. Okay, get him in the tight alignments. We saw a couple successes against this tight alignment, and this is what's hard, right? Boom, boom, boom. These guys are releasing different ways, and these three guys have to figure it out. Okay, who's taking who? Am I taking number 15? Am I taking number 19? Or am I taking the first guy that goes in? Am I taking the first guy that goes out? And so that's what they do. They try to combo it. He goes out first. He goes in first. So he takes him. But 21 isn't quite sure because both of these guys go out. He starts outside, which is all we want. He starts outside, and that's just enough to give us the leverage to beat him back to the inside right here. Great job crossing over again by Ayuk. But the release pattern, the bunch formation frees them up here because they weren't having success getting free against the man-to-man coverage. So that was one that they were able to get. Worked out nice. Wish they would have been in more of those stack alignments throughout the game. Okay, so here we go again with the protection issue. Okay, so I don't know. I have no idea who we're supposed to be blocking on this one if we're the Chiefs. Okay, so you have 4 down linemen. Again, you bring Christian McCaffrey across, so he's not really blocking anybody. They end up bringing these guys to the front side. I don't know. We step down there, and we've got a puller to take one of them, but then they bring a guy off the edge. We have nobody to take care of him, but great job by Brock Purdy. Being aware, even though we don't really have a pressure plan, we got nobody looking quick, and we've got a free hitter coming off the slot, which we always got to account for a free hitter coming off the slot, I would think. We're not accounting for him, so who's my hot? Got nothing front side. He finds Christian McCaffrey on the backside here on the hot with guys coming free at him and just gets it out and makes a play. And then Christian makes a play for him on top of it. This was huge, even though, again, protections and hot plans for the 49ers have not been good. I don't know if it's a huge part of emphasis in this offense, but they've had plenty of issues already in this game and throughout the seasons with this. But great job by these two players to just make a play when everything else was falling apart. Okay, this look right here, we're going to motion Christian out, hitch. We're going to run what looks like a seam here. Normally they run a seam on this side too. I think George is trying to beat this guy into the middle, and then they're running Debo on what we call a juke route. So you go and you set, and you give them a juke, and then you try to cross their face. Okay, so usually you pick a side. Usually you pick a side on this play. Usually you pick a side on this play and you read the side and you see if you can clear this guy out if he carries, and then you replace with this juke route. So it looks like we've got Brock looking to his left. Okay, so it's really good coverage to his left, and now he's coming back and counting on Debo to win here. And Debo, again, doesn't win, causes a scramble, but I just want to go back to this juke. So I think there's 2 different things on the juke, and I've talked about it before. There's 2 different ways you can run this. Okay, the way I like to run this is I like to tell my juke player to get to the backside of this linebacker. Get to the backside edge of this linebacker. Why do you tell him that, Kurt? Well, first of all, because most times when you have a juke, you have the ability to go either direction. But if I'm only going backside, I need to get across this linebacker here, get to his backside, give him the juke, and get the leverage I want to the backside. So that's the first way to do it. And then for a lot of teams, so like the Patriots run this a lot, if you get to the backside and this defender now wants to cut you off to the backside, now you plant and you come out the front side if that's an option. So that's why I like to go to the backside. The other thing that you can do is you can push up to your side of the field. So instead of attacking that Mike linebacker, just push up kind of in front of you and draw him to you. So now you're going to set, and now he's moving in this direction, and that's when you can drop underneath him and beat him across his face. Now, it's a little bit harder because if he takes the right angle and he's coming to you, he can cut you off from going backside. That's why I like to cross his face. But that's the other thing. I don't want to run to his near shoulder, because if I run to his near shoulder, he's not going to overrun me. He's going to come down and attack my near shoulder and take away that leverage. So here, Debo runs to his near shoulder, and you see he's outside leverage on the defender. The defender squats his feet and has inside leverage here. So when he breaks, maybe gets across his face, but the leverage is still in the favor of the linebacker, who just mauls him right here and matches right to him, because he never forces him to either move that way or move this way. Get off their spot. We want defenders to move. Go straight up the field, draw him to you. Make him come to you to cover him, then you drop underneath him. Okay? Try to cross him. Get to the other side, where if he doesn't cut you off, now you have leverage back that way. But if he moves to cut you off, then it gives you the ability to return away from his movement, away from his body position, and win. Nothing right here, but great job by Brock and Juszczyk, just working to get open and making a play and setting them up for a first down, to them being in a long yardage situation, okay? And then here's the final play. So here we go again with the same idea. Now we're going to motion Christian McCaffrey, but so now he's got no responsibility in the protection now, because he's just free releasing there, okay? So now we've got to decide how we're going to block this, okay? So we're going to pull the center here. So the center will take this defensive end. That means left tackle and left guard have to step down, and we'll X out these two players because they should cover those two players. They should block those two players, okay? Now it falls to, what are we doing on the front side? Okay, so the front side, I mean, I'm a little bit confused here on how they're blocking it. I mean, the front side, I understand why the tackle is going out to the defensive end, because you would think that's his responsibility. You got 5 offensive linemen, so we're going to block the 4 down and then whoever else, the 4 down and the Mike here. Okay, so that's kind of what you would be thinking here, is that we should go out here, and then the guard should go right here, pull the center, down, down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Our issues are these other guys that are sitting in the mix, okay? For some reason, this right guard goes down to block the Mike linebacker too, because he walks up, and we leave Chris Jones scot-free on this particular play because of an issue right there. We've got no chance if we're Brock Purdy, and we're in trouble. Now, we're going to have a guy free anyways, because they're going blitz 0, and this guy's going to come free, but he comes free late, but he's going to be free. So we also have to have that plan. If that guy comes, what are we doing? I don't know, maybe it's George Kittle leaking out. I'm not really sure, but we messed this up from the get-go. And so what did they have? Okay, they had a return right here. They love to run this. Then they love to try to get Debo on the over route here, and then they're going to run Ayuk on the post route back behind it. So if they block this right, okay, I don't know. I don't know if he still has time to get all the way back to Ayuk. But you're going to see Ayuk come wide open right there. Okay, so this would be the guy that would be free if they block this right. And I don't know how much time. I don't know if Brock can get through this progression to get to him. But there's a possibility there of having that. Okay? The other thing that I would say is, if you have Christian doing this, let Christian go and just let him run a swing route over here. So if they do this, because in critical situations, they've been doing this. They've been running blitz 0. We've talked about it. Everybody's coming. It's straight man-to-man. 27 has Christian McCaffrey. So if I'm doing this, he's not a part of the protection anyways. He can't be because of the jet sweep. I'm telling him, get over there and fly out there and be my hot guy if they bring pressure. They bring pressure, and now, let's just say, he's screaming over here, and he's just running and continuing on just a swing route off of his fake, okay? If that happens, and I see the pressure guy come from the backside, that could be another option for me. This guy's trailing him. This guy ends up running into Debo anyways. Let's just say we did that and we throw it to Christian out there. Look at his guy. His guy just banged into Debo, walking in for a touchdown. I get it. They're not doing that. So I'm just kind of making stuff up, and you're right. I'm making stuff up. But this is what we always did, is that if this guy has no responsibility whatsoever, then he comes through on his fake and he just goes screaming out there. We used him as a guy in the flat. So if we had a concept where we needed a guy in the flat, he would just continue out on the flat. But he was always available as a hot, as a throw in any situation. And if I get blitz zero, where I've got, press, and I get Christian McCaffrey with off coverage and a guy chasing him in any kind of man coverage, I love my options right there. But I don't even know if he gets it to him now because Chris Jones wasn't blocked. So a lot of issues there. They've got no real hot throw right here. We miss the protection, and Chris Jones comes free. And this was a microcosm of what happened in the second half for the 49ers. Just went through it. Not much going this second half. Mistake after mistake. Little questionable aspects to their offense. Why they're doing it this way. Who's supposed to be blocking that guy? Why do we have so many mess ups? But you want to win in the biggest moments. They played well enough in the first half to win this football game. But they didn't finish. And this second half, you can see they didn't do anything in the second half because it was mistake after mistake. Everybody took their turn. Some of it could have been scheme-oriented. Some of it was on Brock Purdy. Other things were on the offensive line. Sometimes the receivers weren't getting open. Man, it was across the board. They got beat up and dominated in the second half. Didn't do enough in the first half to separate it. And Patrick Mahomes went out and was special once again late in the game. And that was the difference in winning the Super Bowl.